Okay, Dave here, Fix and Fly RC. So next installment, putting the STEMWings formation lights in my F-4 Phantom II from Freewing. So we got the front ones done, we got the mid fuselage done. Now we're going to do the wingtips. I thought it was going to be kind of hard. It kind of is going to be a little bit of a challenge, and I'll show you that just in a minute. But I think I got a plan. I've just got to do a few things to make myself a little bit more comfortable. So let me, as we did in the other ones, let's walk through the plan, and then we'll see if we want to go that route. But I think this is the way I'm going to go, and hope it doesn't come back to bite me. But let's show you what I'm thinking about. Okay, so what you see here is the wing here, and of course the light's going to go right in that area right there, and I'll pull one out here. So that's what the wingtip light looks like. Just gonna have to cut out the foam right there. So the question is going to be how to run the wire. Well, I've seen some people that have run it, and they've kind of come down and they come back through here, and they're back down in here somewhere. Or I take that back, they went toward the front. I'm sorry, they were up here and they ran it down the front and came out here somewhere toward the front. I really don't want to do that. And two things I think I mentioned is what I want to do is be able to take my wings off, so that if I'm carrying multiple planes, I don't have near as much space. So take the wings off, you can store the wings separately. So as you can see here, you have a connect there on one side of the wing, and then on the plane there's the mating connector. And so what I think I am going to do, and we'll see, I'll do one to see if it gets is you have your tape here, and this is where the wires are already run. And then I will just pull the tape back as far as just as little as I have to, but as far as I need to. I'll run it down to here. So I'll go ahead and follow what's already cut, because if I need to, I can get some more tape and paint it, I guess. And then I will likely undo this connector here and pull it out just a little bit, let the wire come out through here somewhere, and pull the wire, and then I'll have to cut the wire, but I'll put, like I did before on the mid fuses, I'll put a connector here, and then over here, in this area, there'll be a mating connector, and you can see there's plenty of room right through there to get wire. So I got plenty of room. So here's what the challenge is going to be. So I went ahead and pulled the cover off of where the EDF goes, because at the end of the day, I'm going to put a afterburner in there anyway. So what I'm going to have to take this out. So I think what I'll do is I'll pull the afterburner out, and you can see right here where the wire runs down in here, and then they run up under the ESC panel there. And if you can see, I've actually got my little metal pull rod through there. I just wanted to see how easy it would be to get a rod through there. So I've got my pull rod through there that I can run the wire. So the biggest challenge is going to be I'm going to have those wires, unless I figure out a way to take this off, man. And there are 2 screws in there, so I could probably take those screws out, pull that up, and run the wires under that and screw it back down and hold in place. Because what you don't obviously want with a 90 EDF, that's going to pull a lot right there. And if you're not careful, you'll have loose wires in there, and they can get sucked up in this thing. And again, as I mentioned before, it doesn't take a lot to take one of these blades out, and you're going to lose your plane. So that's probably the path I'm going to go. I'll take those 2 screws out, take the EDF off. It's got to do that anyway for the afterburner. take those 2 screws out, have the wire up under that, screw it back down, up under the little lips there, not the EDF itself, because that's going to get a little bit hot, so I don't want to burn the wires. I'll just use the tabs there to hold my wire down, and that should get, my only real concern is, you know, that wire will be back through there, but I think once I get past here, you know, I'm not going to be sucking the air through that, I don't think. And but we'll test it out for sure, make sure I don't feel like I'm doing anything. So it's probably that's why I said in some ways, let me turn this around. So what I said, you know, in some ways, this looks like it's not going to be hard to install. I mean, it's a little bit of work, but it's not difficult. The only little bit of a scary part, of course, is going to be the making sure that the light wire is good and tied down and in no way it can get sucked up in the motor. It's going to be my only really scary part, and by going this route. But that way I'll be able to, like I said, take my wings off, and if I want to, and I'm not stuck with them on all the time. That was part of the reason I almost didn't want to put the wingtip lights on, quite honestly, just because I didn't want to have to deal with that. But you know, I think you know, I think it's going to look good, and I think once I do the work and get them back on, I think it'll be worth it. I think it'll be okay. So that's going to be my path. So we're going to do one, see how it works out, and if I'm comfortable with that, we'll do the other one. If nothing else, I'll have a hole. I'll put the light in and won't hook it up, but I doubt I'll do that. So let's get at that part now and see how that works. We'll start with the wing and just get a little bit cut out there, and get that run through the wing, and then we'll move on to the plane itself. So let's see how it goes. Okay, so here we are with the wing tip light, and I am going to go ahead and install it right here on this same line right here, just because it's just going to be easier to run the wire right there, and that may not be the exact right place. It kind of, you know, not being so OCD up to this point, but at this point I just want to go where I'm not going to have to be making, you know, a lot of slits in the plane. So I've measured the width of this, and now I've got a set of calipers I use. You know, you can get a ruler or something like that, but you want to know, like, so how far, and you can always cut material, so if you cut it a little short, that's okay, but I'm going to make me a little mark there of where that needs to go. That actually looks not exactly the same. So let's see if this, so I'm going to use this route. It's actually going to be a little bit better. So just kind of checking how wide I want it. Okay, so we'll cut out that section right there, and hopefully this will go pretty smoothly. Let me get me a straight edge, something to cut with. And then it's gonna sit flush up like that. double checking my measurements there. Looks to be about the same. Now a little bit of a challenge is going to be, I guess, you know, making sure that one, you get a good straight cut. You know, you don't want to go that way. So I guess we can just, we'll eyeball it. All right, so we got our little piece. I'm going to hold on to that just in case if something says, well, I want to glue that bad boy back on. And see how that fits. Could be just a hair deeper. This part, the front part feels good. I'm just a little bit shy right there. And it looks like right there is up just a little bit. So I'm going to, probably can't see this, but I'm going to take just a little bit off of there. And one thing you'll notice, and I missed that in the beginning, this is tapered a little bit and it matches the taper on the this. And that just little bit of sliver made all the difference in the world. And I really like the way that fits. That turned out really, I was a little scared, to be honest, how that works. So I may take off just a sliver more, but we'll see how it is. But that actually fits pretty nice. So now what we need to do is we're going to and I think there's going to be plenty of wire here, but what we'll do is we're going to tuck that away right here, and let's see about where we can peel the tape back. If we don't have to peel it all the way off, we don't want to. And I've actually glued this back down before, so I'm just going to peel one side up. And expose. So I've just taken that one side up here, if you can see. And there's actually, you can see there's actually no paint right there, so they installed this and then painted it. I'm going to need to get my wire through here. So let's poke it in there a little bit, get it. All right. Then we're going to catch this little edge right here. I know you can't really see that, Actually, I'm gonna use my finger there. Alright, so just kind of tucking that away and getting it around that corner there. So now we're just gonna feed it down this line right here. I'll probably have to put some stickum, kind of stick that back down. I've used some like stick glue before for that on some other parts, so probably have to do that again. Used my tip there to just kind of peel that up. Same thing here, we're just gonna peel one side of the tape back. Gotta be smart and run this wire up under here, not get it tucked away and realize I gotta pull it all the way back out again. Yeah, see, they've already got a pretty good size slot in here, so you can actually just kind of take your finger if you want. And push it through there. Get it pushed down good. Just gonna, again, gonna have to put some stickum down on that to get that to re-stick. I'll have to pull this one back out a little bit. All right, so now what we're gonna have to see is trying to get it through the connector. So I'm gonna pause here for a minute. I'm gonna take this connector out and just kind of make sure I got a good plan on how I'm gonna do that. So be back shortly. Okay, so I think I've got a plan here. And so what I've done, I've taken this connector loose, I've pulled it out a little bit, and I've taken me a little pull wire, and I just poked it up through there, and it's right where the wires are coming out. Now, the one mistake I made, I went ahead and cut the connector off, and now that I was thinking I should have cut it off like, you know, way closer here to where I was going to put the other connector on, because I'm going to have to cut the wire again, and then left the original connector on there. That was one of these I wasn't quite thinking ahead of myself. So I've got my little pull wire here. I've taped it. I hope it's taped down good enough. We'll find. Hopefully the wire doesn't pull through. If it pulls off, we'll come up with a different plan. Yeah, the tape's a little bit thick right there. See if I can get it enough to get it started through. Yeah, it's going to want to pull out. Okay, so I'm going to do a better job of taping. Okay, so I've put me actually a little bit of hook on the end of my pull wire, just a little hook, fed the electrical line through there and just taped it together there. Let's see if that holds enough to pull it through. And it actually did. The tape, I'm gonna pull that through. The tape actually came loose, but it held on enough to let me pull the wires through. So we'll get this tape off, pull the wire the rest of the way through. Alright, got it through. Put our tape temporarily back down. Clearly it's going to need a little help. So now I'm just going to put my connector back on and got my wire there. And I think what I'm going to do is, do I want to try to figure out if I want, I think maybe I'll put it on the bottom side here. And then when I can make my connection, I'll have some place for the connector to go. So I think that's where I'm gonna, I don't know if you can see that right there, but I'm just gonna let the wire come out right there, and then I'll put my connector right here somewhere. And hopefully it'll fit in the hole with the other one just fine. If not, I can always take it back loose and move it around. That's not gonna be critical. So I'm gonna pause and we'll put that back in. Okay, so I'm gonna get ready to pull the wires. And what I did was I took the pull rod and went ahead and fed it through here and back down through there. And so I was able to pull it up underneath the ESC here. So before, where I thought I was going to put on, I'm going to get the wires. Now, two things, but I'm going to be putting an afterburner in there. So while I'm pulling the wires, I've gone ahead and hooked up the afterburner wire. And then I got my 2 power wires for the lights. And my hook is right here. And what I did was I hooked the hook on in between the wires here, so they'll pull easier than just kind of taped them. One thing I've noticed is that if you don't tape these down a little bit, sometimes they'll get up there and they'll get turned. So I'll finish taping those down so they can't turn. And then because of the way I didn't cut the connector on the other wire, I just got the other wire taped right there. So hopefully it'll pull through without any problem. So I'm going to go ahead and finish taping, and I'll pull that. You don't need to see a pull, and we'll go from there. Okay, my video's got a little whacked up, so I'll see how all these splice together, but I want to kind of pick up where I thought I left off. So I was wanting to, make sure I pull the wire so they didn't get up there. And so what I did is actually through the tail section here, where you're going to pull the wires for the tail section when you put it in. If you haven't already assembled it, then you may want to take it out. Pull wire came through here all the way to the front. And then what I did was I took my wire, just fed it through. Sorry. Too much stuff in the way. So there's where the wing wire is. So I just fed it right through that hole right there. I had not put the connector on it yet, but it would fit if there was a connector on there. And then I went ahead and hooked up my 2 light wires to the pull wire. And then, as I mentioned, I'm also, bought the afterburner, sorry. And so I went ahead and pulled that wire through while I was pulling, so I got all that pulled through. So now I've got my wires pulled through. And one thing you notice I did here too is I went ahead and ran the wire up under this tape, just like the other's wire. And then the motor, of course, is going to sit down right on here. So now there's not going to be any loose wires that's going to be able to get sucked up back up into the intake or into the fan. So we got that done, and then like I mentioned, I want to be able to plug my wings in and out, so I went ahead and cut the wires. There's plenty of wire, and bought a crimping tool, a set of these connectors, and just made my own plugs. I may do a video on that. There's some YouTube videos on how to do that much better than I could do. So now we got all the wires run. So really what I got to do is just get everything hooked back up into the connectors, run a power check, make sure all the lights were working. But I did them individually, so hopefully even after I made the connections, I did a double check, and everything seems to be working. So I just got to get the wires hooked up. I still got to glue everything back, all the lights in place, and I got to do all that final stuff there. But right now the wires are run, got the hard part done, and just clean it up, finish it up, get my afterburner finished, installed, and then actually put the plane together for the first time, because I hadn't even done that yet, because I just figured it'd be easier to work without the wings and stuff like that, and get it, not having to take all that stuff back apart. So hopefully all that works. But anyway, so I'll tag up here shortly on the front end with everything plugged up, and we'll do a quick check and see if everything works. Okay, so I've got all the lights installed that I want to install at this point in time. And like I said, I haven't did the tail yet. And so I'm going to show you what we got. I went ahead and finished putting the plane together after I got all the lights installed and got all the cabling tucked away. Just kind of made sure no connections came loose or anything. Of course, the next steps is going to be gluing the lights in and putting the little dividers in the lights, so it finishes that part up. So let me show you what we got. Okay, so here's the plane all together. Went ahead and put the ordnance just so you could see what it looks like. And of course, like I think I mentioned, I decided to put my lights on a switch. So there you go. I can turn them on, I can turn them off. That way, if you don't want to burn the battery, or with bright daylight and you just don't want to fly them, you can turn them off. Starts getting a little dusk and getting ready for a landing, can't quite see the plane, maybe a little bit of a cloudy day. Whoops, lights on. So there you go. So all the lights are working. Pretty happy with that. And probably really can't see inside the canopy because the batteries are in there. I still haven't put my battery tray in here, but as I mentioned before, I ran the front fuselage lines through here. I brought them back in here and I've taped them down. I've tried to, as neatly as I could, bundle all the wires up, and I got them back in the back there. Trying to keep that rat's nest because it was pretty ugly there. So like I said, just got to get this guys glued in, put the little dividing lights on them. Then I will be completely done with the lights. So yeah, so pretty happy with how that's turned out. It's been a little bit of a journey, learning experience, but they look really cool. Can't wait to see it in the air. Probably will do some dusk flying just to see them. They'll definitely look better. But anyway, I will finish this up, and then I'm going to do one more video after this one, just kind of a overall summary video, just kind of go through all the stuff I did for somebody that may be just wanting to get an idea of what it would take. I did spend a fair amount of time putting the lights on it. It's one of those things you can, depending on what you do, because like I said, I cut some of the wires, had to buy the connectors and the kit, and learn a little bit on connecting. Again, learning a little bit along the way. So it took a little bit. So it's like anything else you do, depends on how much time you want to put into it. But I think it's going to be a looker at the field. And we actually, at our flying club that I fly at, sometimes We got a couple events coming up here pretty shortly, so need to get it made and get it up in the air, get it all trimmed out, and so I can get her over there to the field. And my guess is she'll be one that everybody wants to come and look at. So hey, if you have been enjoying the series or got any comments or recommendations, helped you any at all, again, my videos are anywhere close to professional. It's just me and my iPhone. And so I do the best I can. And so I know some of the videos are a little shaky. You know, I'm thinking through things sometimes, so I do hum around a little bit. If that annoys people, I'm sorry, but that's just the way I do things. But I think sometimes you can actually show people things and kind of walk through it real time with them. And sometimes it's just easier to do some quick stuff and just say, this is what I did. But in this case, I chose to try to walk you through the process as I did it and kind of give you a feel how long it took. So that's why I broke the videos up. So anyway, again, hope this helps, and look forward to you in the closeout video for the STEMWing lights, and hopefully for the successful maiden. So Dave here, Fix and Fly. Happy flying.